Welcome everyone to today's webinar. We are ecstatic to have Jasmine Stock with us. Some of you might recognize her from Market Tech Conference, but she is going to go over creating a month's content in a day. And I'm so excited for this. So before we let Jasmine take the stage and give us all of her tips and tricks, we first want to encourage you to engage in our chat. So drop an emoji that you best relate to. If content planning were a person, how would you describe the relationship with it? So start the chat going with some emojis and get yourself familiar because if you have questions throughout today's webinar, put them in the chat. And Jasmine also is going to challenge you throughout today's webinar. So be sure to know where that chat is and engage with us today. It'll really help you get the most out of the webinar. And these webinars, again, would not be possible without our sponsors and our members. So today's featured sponsor, we just do a big thanks to the Development Council for Buffalo County. They're all about creating opportunities and building a stronger local economy, whether it's supporting startups, expanding existing businesses, or helping Buffalo County thrive for generations to come. We're honored to highlight them today as a valued member of our network. And now I'm going to kick it to Tanya to let us know our member.
Yes, our featured member is Marathon Press, and they've been a member of Grow since 2020, and they have 40 years of expertise in printing. They're in Norfolk, Nebraska, so they have expertise in printing, marketing, creative business solutions, and so they're known for helping a variety of businesses across the country just innovate and commit to the quality of printing. And so we're definitely honored to feature them for this webinar. I would now like to pass it over to Jasmine. And Jasmine, I'll let you take it away, and we look forward to learning from you today.
Thanks, guys. Let me go ahead and share my screen. All right, let's just jump right into it. Thank you guys, Grow Nebraska, and everyone that's attending today. I'm super excited to jump into this. If you guys did see me at Market Tech, I have refined this times 100. So I just really hope you guys take a lot out of it today. So today we're going to learn how to streamline your content creation. We're going to be using ChatGPT, Canva, and Meta Business Suite. This is my Social Media University Course 1. My name is Jasmine Stock. I'm the founder and owner of J Design Strategist, where I help guide entrepreneurs and small businesses in achieving success through effective digital marketing, business strategy, and automation. So off the top of your head, and you could put these in the chat so that maybe we can talk about them at the end. But what are some of your biggest challenges with content creating? A lot of it can be finding the right content ideas, staying consistent with your posting, engaging the audience effectively, and creating that high quality visuals that's really going to drive and create a big audience for you. So today, what we're going to cover is how to work with and educate AI using ChatGPT, how to use the bulk creation tool in Canva, how to export and organize your branded content, how to write captivating captions using AI, and how to schedule that content using Meta, hypothetically, for a month's worth of content. So before we get into it, why is organic content so important? Well, it's providing you a cost-effective and authentic way to engage with your audience. You're building those lasting relationships and so much more. So let's take a case study. This is my client, Dr. Greg Stewart. He's an author and therapist out of Texas, and I've been working with him for a year, creating organic content. We do 10 posts, 4 carousels, 10 stories, 4 reels for 28 pieces of content a month. And his content strategy is focused on that organic social media content where we're posting regularly on both Facebook and Instagram. So we're driving that audience and we're building that connection to ultimately drive that sales for his new book. So looking at the analytics, I pulled these in May for the last year. He's reaching almost 300,000 views on his content on Facebook alone. We're also seeing 137,000 people in reach that is just reaching him. His content is reaching them organically. We're looking at almost 2,000 people are interacting with his content on Facebook. And then almost 14,000 people are clicking on that direct link in that caption that's driving those sales for his book on Amazon. We're looking at over 2,000 people are visiting his Facebook page. And then we're looking at an increase of almost 2,000 Facebook followers, all from organic content using Facebook. So some of those key takeaways for my client, Dr. Greg Stewart, is that we're seeing a 365% increase in engagement. We're noticing a 62% increase in driving that traffic to his Facebook profile. We're seeing a 229% increase in that growth in profile visits, and then a 4.6% following growth, all thanks to organic content posted on a free platform. There's audiences performing best on Facebook. So how can you achieve organic results like this? Well, I'm going to show you. We'll be using AI to help. We'll be using Canva's bulk creation tool. We'll be writing captions, and then we'll be scheduling it all out using Meta Business Suite. So this is my step-by-step guide as a social media director on how I create posts, stories. Today, I'm not going to be able to get into carousels and reels because I do not have enough time, but I have a great masterclass link right here. So when you visit jdesigns.info/masterclass or scan that QR code, it's going to take us to our handy dandy resource page for today. So here I've got these handouts that give you all the information that we're going to be covering today. ChatGPT link, Canva, Meta Business Suite, some quick tips, and then some more tools and resources for you to use from me. I have some ChatGPT prompts here that we are going to be using to copy and paste so we can get through this a little quicker, and so that you know what answers or what questions to ask ChatGPT while we develop the strategy. As a link to ChatGPT, Canva, Meta Business Suite, and then those tools and freebies are also listed here. So, what is Canva? Well, it's a user-friendly online design tool that allows you to create a wide range of visuals. And if you've used Canva before, go ahead and comment Canva and maybe what you love to use Canva for. So today, how we'll be using Canva is we'll be designing our visual content, we'll be bulk creating our content, and then we're organizing and exporting our content. So step one is log into your Canva account. And if you don't have one, you can get started free. That link is available on that masterclass resource page, as well as that handout that I provided where you can scan this QR code. But this is a very hands-on webinar today. So if you have the ability to slide on over there, just listen to me, you will learn a lot by being able to implement it. So we're going to be using an example business today. I made up this business called Inspire and Create. And what they do is they create affirmation journals, self-help books, cozy date ideas, and overall activities for your life. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to go into Canva and we're going to create a doc. So I'm going to go into Canva. I like to work in projects. So over here on the left-hand side, I just click projects. I'm going to go ahead and just use my masterclass folder so I can keep everything organized. I'm going to click add new. I'm going to go over here to design on the right-hand side and click create new. Over here on the left-hand side, you can see that it says docs. We're going to click on that. We're going to click on this first one here that says doc. So if you're familiar with a Word doc, it's going to be very similar to that. I just like to put everything in Canva. It's in one centralized location, and it keeps everything organized for me. So let's name this social media outline. And then I like to put the business name. So go ahead and put your business name here. I'm going to put Inspire and Create for mine. So in here, like I said, we just named this our social media outline and put our name. So this is going to be our brain. I like to call these campaigns. So if we're doing a month of content for a specific campaign, if this is your very first one, you can just name it campaign 1. or you could say, sales campaign, or however you'd like to do it in regard to like content pillars. But to keep it simple, you could just think of it as campaign 1, right? So we're going to be creating the strategy now. It's really important to create a written strategy before we dive into just creating silly, pretty posts that we think will perform well. When we actually have a strategy, then we can work with ChatGPT to develop the content that's actually going to resonate with your audience, right? So let's go ahead and do some brainstorming. So we're going to ask ourselves, what are our main objectives for this campaign 1 for a social media campaign? Better yet, we can ask ChatGPT about it. So we'll get over here to ChatGPT if you have a free account, log right in. If you have used ChatGPT before, go ahead and comment ChatGPT and how you like to use it. And I actually just got done creating a custom GPT specifically for how to build a social media strategy. So you can scan that QR code here. If you have the paid ChatGPT version, then you can use this custom GPT. That paid version, it's just $20 a month. Then you can get access to these custom GPTs, which means I'm funneling a lot of information and I'm feeding it and I'm having it do deep research specifically on social media strategies and what performs best and how to build those out. And so that's what I did with my custom ChatGPT is I just taught it how to do all of that. So you can gain access to that when you click on the jdesigns.info/masterclass. That button that says ChatGPT prompts, you click on that. And then you can see here it says use this custom GPT. You can click on that and it'll take us to that. And if you're not paying for the free or the paid version, no worries. Just an average new chat will work just as well. I think I'll just go ahead and do a new chat just so I don't get anyone confused. But please feel free to use that custom GPT. It's available for the public specifically so that you can really dive in and focus on creating a great social media strategy before you start creating that content. So how do we get started? Well, first, let's ask ChatGPT what it needs from us, because right now it doesn't know. So the very first prompt I'm going to give ChatGPT is, what do you need from me to help me define my main objectives for a month-long social media campaign for my business? So we go back over here to that prompts tab. That's that first one right here. I'm going to double click it to highlight the entire thing and Control C to copy it. I'm going to come over here to ChatGPT and I'm just going to simply put that into the chat and let it do some brainstorming. So of course, ChatGPT is going to ask us these questions. It doesn't know anything about our business. So it's going to say, well, what do you sell? What platforms are you on? What's the campaign focus? Who's your audience? Timeline, etc. The easy way to kind of funnel a lot of this information in a quick kind of way is just going over, let's say we could go over to my website and I could Control A and see how it's highlighted all of the text information that's here on my website. I could Control C and I could throw that right into here and it will learn about my business. It's going to be able to pull some of that key messaging if you have your platforms listed on there. It's going to be able to give that. It's going to kind of give a rough estimate of what your business goals are based on what's on your website, what you're selling. And then it's even going to be able to perform that target audience analysis just based on simply copy and pasting some of that copy from your website. So this could take some time when you're brainstorming with ChatGPT. I am just going to have to tell ChatGPT the business is inspire and create. We sell inspirational quote books and self-help books, journals, and more. And right away, it's already going to be able to list some of those things that I'm going to need to start implementing. It's going to ask me more questions so it has a better understanding of what makes me different and just going to be able to help me brainstorm, just like if you were to hire a social media director like myself, you can just talk to ChatGPT. So let's move on to our next prompt. And let's say, so after you guys, I would encourage you to spend some time to really funnel in that information at ChatGPT and have it learn your ins and outs as a business as much as possible before you jump into this. But it's learning, you're learning, we're all learning. So you can absolutely just go ahead and move on to this next prompt. And when you have time later on, then you can kind of go in and refine all this, because learning the steps right now will help you give yourself that blueprint when you're ready to sit down and really dive into a well-crafted strategy and well-done content. So let's move on to that next ChatGPT prompt. It says, please tell me what my main objectives are for a month-long social media campaign. Let's get over here, ChatGPT, and let's just pop it in there and see what he says. So from that small amount of information that I gave it about inspire and create, it's going to give me more of those generic main objectives, which typically when we're talking about a social media campaign, they do revolve around driving the product awareness, increase community engagement, and then, of course, wanting to generate that traffic and conversions for your sales. And it's even listed some SMART goals. How nice. So we're looking at some reach goals, 50,000 post impressions, 5% increase in engagement. And these are great KPIs, key performance indicators, that we can then track on a Google spreadsheet or even that social media outline that we're already developing after the campaign has gone out to see how impactful it was. So thanks, ChatGPT. Now, what do I do with this? We don't want it to just be out on the chat on ChatGPT, because we're going to be continuously talking and educating it and pulling information from it. So what I like to do is copy and paste this into my outline, because what we're doing right here is creating our strategy. So I put my main objectives in here so that we can continue to work with ChatGPT. We don't have to go scrolling up and down through the chat to look for this. It's right here in our outline, right? So moving on, we can ask it for that next prompt. We can say, please perform our target audience analysis. So we'll copy that in, we'll throw it in the ChatGPT, and we'll see what he says. And again, I am having to move a little quickly because I want to go through a lot of stuff with you guys, but don't just take the first thing that ChatGPT tells you, refine it, talk with it. There's even this awesome tool down here on the paid version, which is Run Deep Research. So it'll essentially work like a scholar working on a paper and run through hundreds of different articles, cite them all, and then just do deep research on who truly would be engaged and somebody that you would want to target. So I don't have time to do that with you guys right now, but I do encourage you guys to do that when you're working with this. I'm going to take my target audience analysis and I'm going to feed that into my outline, because that's what we're doing right here is we're creating our strategy and our outline. And that's all of this. It's the main objectives, it's the target audience analysis, it's going to be the goals and KPIs, it's key messaging. It's all those awesome things that continue to, you have a strategy built out and you go, you know what, ChatGPT, what else does my strategy need? It'll tell you, you continue to brainstorm and you refine that. So we put that in our outline. We asked it for the target audience analysis. We took that great information that ChatGPT researched and we put that in our outline as well. So let's move on to our next prompt, which is, please list our goals and KPIs for the campaign. So I've already kind of done this, but I like to have a very specific section for this on my strategy so that we can actually look back at the analytics the way that we did with Greg's content earlier in the presentation, and we can determine whether or not the content that we're pushing out is performing well. And based on his analytics, it is. So The goals are going to be a lot like those main objectives, except they're going to be partnered up with those KPIs. So for each goal, we're going to say, okay, well, we want at least 50,000 impressions by the end of the month. And we want to reach 20,000 unique users. Those are really great starting points. And then being able to track those in the spreadsheet or within that outline, you can put a table in the outline and just track it there, just to make sure that all your hard work isn't for nothing. You want to be able to track that data, right? So let's copy and paste those goals and KPIs, and let's throw them in the outline. That's what we just did. So to understand the possibilities of talking to ChatGPT, we could do this exact same thing to determine our key brand messaging. We can ask it specifically, what are some of my key brand messaging and how can we use these in our campaign? And then it'll list that out for you. You can ask it specifically to create a content calendar and tell it what day, it's June 6th, the 4th of July is coming up. We have the summer, do deep research on how to engage with people during the summer since they're kind of out and about and less on their phones. You can ask it to do a competitor analysis. You can ask ChatGPT anything else and so much more to really craft that social media strategy to the best of its ability, right? So hypothetically, our strategy is complete. And if you're continuing to work with ChatGPT to make those revisions and make that outline as best as you can, I like to go back in the outline, Control A, select it all, and Control C, and just throw it back in there. Learn this strategy. Just so that it doesn't take any of that other information that maybe you didn't like. You were like, cut this, let's work on this, just so that it understands what the approved strategy is. Then we're going to move forward. So our strategy is complete. We can move on to the fun part, which is creating branded content. What we're going to do is we're going to jump back into Canva. Keep things organized. I go over here to left-hand side projects. I click masterclass and I'm going to click add new, design, create new. Over here on the left-hand side, it says social media. And I'm going to click this Instagram post ratio 4:5, which is a 1080 by 1350. And this size design does work great on Facebook as well, because essentially we'll be using Meta Business Suite to post this content on both platforms for us. So I like to come over here and I'll call it June post. You could call it, campaign 1 post or whatever's going to help you keep everything organized. So you can pick out of any of these incredible templates that Canva already has for you. We can start from scratch. Let's just start drag and dropping your brand colors. For today, I'm just going to throw in this template. It's got pretty much everything I need. It's got the website. It's got a little place for my logo. It's got a place for a nice hook, some supportive text down here, and then a background image that I can just drag and drop some different images into. So we did just that. We picked out a template, we named it, and now we're going to ask ChatGPT to help us come up with ideas. So that next prompt is, knowing the strategy, will you please help me create 10 post ideas? So you can change this number to 30 for a month, or if you were to do like 4 content pillars, you could do, this could be content pillar 1, and you could do 10 post ideas, and then all of those content pillars go out on Monday. You could do all of this again, and then, or just work with a strategy and say, hey, I want to do 4 content pillars. I want to build awareness, drive engagement, and drive sales. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday is a different content pillar. And then, so you would do 10 post ideas for that each specific content pillar, right? And then I've also added this part where it just says, in addition, we will have these events going on, and we will be running these specials. Just if you have you know, any 4th of July events going on or any lunch specials or something like that. You just want to throw in there. So let's go over here to our prompts and we'll copy that and we'll put it in to ChatGPT. Right, so I forgot to put in those events and the specials. So I will say we will be going live on FB tomorrow at noon. And for the weekend, we're wanting 20% off. So now that it has that information, it should be able to give us those post ideas. All right, so right now these are just ideas. And I am gonna say the type is post only. Just so that they know, because it looks like we have some carousels in Reels, and right now we're just doing posts. All right, so while it's generating that, get back into the presentation. So right off the bat, obviously, you don't want to just copy and paste these or use them as they are. You want to continue to have that deep conversation with ChatGPT and have it make any of those revisions that you want until your ideas are perfect. Because once these ideas are perfect, that's where we're going to transition into making them into actual posts, like text into the post. So that next prompt, once the brainstorming of the ideas is perfect, is please turn these ideas into attention-grabbing short hooks with additional supportive text. So we'll go over here, we'll copy that prompt, and we'll throw it in. As you can see, it put together those. It didn't quite understand when I said post text only because it's still putting reels and carousels. So right there, I can show you that ChatGPT is not perfect. It does need more coaching, just like a regular person would. So it's looking like it is giving us what we want. It's giving us that hook, going live tomorrow at noon. Don't miss the drop off of inspiration, and then support. That supportive text is we're sharing what's behind our journals, real talk on growth, and surprise for live viewers only. So it's just kind of like a call to action to rev up that Facebook Live. This was another one for that Facebook Live, and then more reminders. So since the Facebook Live is tomorrow, we could do, you know, a post like right now and then later in the day and then tomorrow morning would be fine. But you could also refine all of these and say, no, every single one of these needs to be different. Just revise them as you see, please, right? Because it's really important that we get this as fine-tuned as possible, because once these are perfect, our hooks and our supportive text, we're going to ask ChatGPT to put them in a table. And that's what's going to pivot us into being able to bulk create this content. So I'm going to go in here and say remove emojis because I don't need them in the post images. And make 4 content pillars. Let's do 1 for engagement, awareness, and sales. So now it's going to rewrite the hook and supportive text for me. So that's looking good. Let's go back over here, and then we're going to say, please create a table where the hooks are in a column and the text is in a separate column. And let's just see what it gives us. All right, so it's giving us that content pillar. It's giving us this nice short hook that will grab people's attention and want to read it. And it's giving us the supportive text. So right off the bat, I can see that this one, the second one, I don't need a slide 1 and slide 2. So no slides. mentioned, please. That's good. And we'll just refine that table because what we're building in this table will be exactly what is bulk created in Canva. So that hook is going to be this big text right here. This is going to be the supportive text when we bulk create. So, like I said, giving us that hook and supportive text, and now we're in a bulk create. So I'm going to actually go back to ChatGPT. I'm going to say, please download as in CSV. It's going to take a little time to do that. In the meantime, let's go over here and let's change our master. This is like our master post because they're all going to look like this. So I'm going to change this URL to inspire and create. And I'm going to drop a new logo in here. See if I can find my, there it is. All right, so a quick Canva tip, which is super fun, is obviously the awesome background remover. Let's use that. And then let's change this to a white logo. So you're just gonna go over here, back to, you can press edit, duotone, click custom, move this over so it's all F for white, move this one all over so it's all F for white as well. And in no time, with no Photoshop or anything, you were able to create a white logo. So I'm just gonna crop that just so it's the that icon. And let's make these a little bigger. All right, let's go back to ChatGPT and see what it gave us. Give us that CSV file. Let's open it up. And for the first one, I'm going to go ahead and copy it in there just this one time, just to make sure that the formatting is how I would like it to be. So that looks good. Get over here to that supported text and drop that in there. And then that formatting is also looking good. So now the master is ready to go. We're going to go over here to the apps button on the left-hand side. And I'm going to type bulk. And then this button right here says bulk create. We're going to click that. And we're going to upload that data. You can also enter the data manually. I just find it just doesn't work as well as uploading the CSV. So we'll upload that data. And we'll click on this CSV. And we have 3 columns. We only need these 2. So let's click on this text. We'll click on these 3 dots. It says more. Click connect data. So if you're familiar with a mail merge, if you've ever done a mail merge in Google or a Word doc and a spreadsheet, it's kind of like that, those principles. Okay. So click hook, and we just connected all of the hooks to this text. And we're going to click the 3 dots again, connect data, and we're going to click the supportive text to connect those. So those are both connected. We don't need that content pillar column because all it says is engagement awareness. Nobody needs that information. So we'll click continue, and we'll click generate 10 designs. So it's going to fill in all of this information for me that we just got done perfecting in ChatGPT in the CSV. I'm going to click view and folder. It's going to say bulk 1 June post. I like to come in here and call it final because I just don't like the word bulk. And now you can see all of the text is different, the hook and supportive. So we can go in there and just make sure that the formatting looks good. Kind of move some things around because this is a lot easier than having to manually copy and paste all of this in. Then all we have to do now is just kind of move the formatting around a little bit just to make sure that it's exactly how we want it to look, right? We're always wanting to refine and take the technology that we have, but then make it better. All right, so we have our 10 posts. So we connected our data, we clicked continue, and we generated those 10 images. Now, all we have to do is drag and drop some different photos into the background. So let's go over here to the final, go over here to elements, and I'm just gonna say aesthetic. And if you didn't know, another Canva tip, you can come over here to this little toggle button, click on it. You can press color, and you could actually put in the code for one of your brand colors. I'll just put green for fun. And now you can see that all of these beautiful green photos have popped up, and I didn't have to like search for that. I just clicked aesthetic. So you could say food or sunset or anything, and then put your brand colors in, and then you have branded photos, right? So I'm gonna clear that actually, and I'm just gonna drag some photos in here that I think will look nice. Again, I want to make sure that everything is easy to read. So let's say if this isn't easy, we could go over here to effects and do a lift. Just kind of get that back shadow on the back. That looks good. Like I said, we're just kind of dropping some aesthetic photos that are on brand. If you have your own photos, this would be great to use. Don't rely just on like stock images. If you have your own, please use those. All right, the last one. Perfect. Just like that, we have 10 posts ready to go. They're all branded very similarly. So I wouldn't suggest just doing these like Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I would suggest maybe these going out like every Monday, and then every Wednesday something else in a different design, and every Friday another batch of these in a different design and another in a different content pillar, right? So the beauty of learning this bulk creation that I just showed you is that you can do this for so many different things. For instance, you can do it to bulk create stories. So you just start that process over, where instead of clicking that 1080 by 1350, you click the 1080 by 1920, the story format, right? So for Greg, that's what I did. I clicked story format, and I decided to do like a little, and what it looks like is a tweet. So one time I put his photo up there, did that in his name, his username, and then I threw in like where I wanted the message to be. And then it was able to bulk create all of this. I asked ChatGPT, hey, write some tweets in the voice of Greg that relate to this book that could give it like some nice tips and tricks. And then do that call to action at the bottom so that they're all different. So they're like, it says message love for the link to order my book. Because when you're on stories, people can message, and then you can set up an automation in Meta Business Suite that will send that link directly to whoever messages love. And so I bulk created those for him, and then I just simply dragged and dropped. It looks like it was probably Valentine's Day campaign. So I did some heart balloons with that. And you can use the same process for carousels and reels. Although I don't have time to cover those with you today, I do have a masterclass on the carousels and reels. You'll get the ChatGPT prompts, you'll get the carousel template. I like to use a really long Canva document, and then I take another tool that's free to use, and I split up the images so that when people are scrolling through them on Instagram, the carousel's seamless. And so that's really fun to use. And you can get that on the QR code or that JDesigns or jdesigns.info.com. So the content's created, we need to export it. Get back over here, we'll do share, download, PNG, that's the best file type for mobile. and we'll click download. And so this is going to download in a zip folder. And I'll show you what that looks like so you're not intimidated by it. See this little white thing, it's zipped up, it's compressed. All we have to do is double click it and it'll open up that folder, and then we have 1 through 10 of the social media images that we just created. So we exported, we opened up our zip, and we're missing one thing before we start scheduling, and it's captions. So we are going to say, great job with the table above. Please write matching Instagram captions for each post. Let's go over there to the prompts. Let's copy that and let's throw it in to ChatGPT and see what he says. All right, so while he's working, we'll keep moving on. He's probably going to give me something that kind of looks like this. Either way, the captions are going to resonate with each one of those folks in the table that we created. And what we're going to do is we're going to copy and paste them, and we're going to put them into our social media outline. Oh, I'm going to say, thank you, but I don't need spreadsheet. Just list them, please. All right, and so I just need the Instagram captions with a call to action and nothing else. All right, so I'm say write it like a very short story and don't format with numbers. I just want to grab all of these. Oh, cute. So it's doing exactly what I asked. The first caption is, you're scrolling and see a quote that hits too close to home. You pause, breathe, and feel seen. Tell us which one speaks to you, which is perfect because that was driving the engagement. And then this next one was like, start your shift today. Shop now. Awesome. So I'm going to copy those and I'm going to put them into my outline. There it is. I like to put it up here. I'll put post here. For my clients, I like to say, click here to view content. And I'll do captions, and I'll throw this in there. And so then this is caption 1. This is caption 2, 3, 4, and so on. And of course, review these. I just know that we're running out of time a bit, so I'm going a little fast. All right. And then I like to go over here. I'll go share. Anyone with a link can edit or view depending on if you're sharing this with a coworker or a client, however you like. I like to get it over here. So everything's linked. We've got our social media outline, we've got our captions, we've got our posts if we need to export them again, if somebody wants to make a change. All right, so we have our contents done, right? We've created the post, we've written our captions, everything's laid out beautifully in the social media outline, and we need to get it out to the people. We need to schedule it on Meta Business Suite, post it on your Instagram and Facebook seamlessly, because we're not going to know how this content's going to perform unless we get it out to our audience. So if you haven't already, I have a free YouTube video on how to connect your Facebook and Instagram to Meta Business Suite. Meta Business Suite is free. It is Facebook and Instagram. So if you didn't know, Instagram was bought by Facebook a couple of years ago, and they had all these third-party scheduling tools that were coming out, and Meta said, what are we doing? This is literally what we do. So that's why they created Meta Business Suite. So as you can see, what my dashboard looks like. My Facebook's connected, my business Instagram is connected. There's a lot of different stuff that you can do within this. I'll just be focusing on the planner. I like to click the planner because then I'm a visual person, so I want to see what the content looks like. So when you have, let's say, let's go back to when I was posting content. So I was revving up for a master class that I put on at NestSpace last month. And as you can see, I have all this content bulk created and scheduled out for that class. But I haven't been doing that lately. So there's a couple different ways. You can click this plus button and click create post. You can do that same thing over here. And then you can also do the schedule. I like to do the schedule because then it'll automatically press that time button for me. Whereas if you just say create post, you have to kind of do that a little bit more manually. So we click schedule post and this little pop-up that I just mentioned came up. We have this really cool thing called active times. It's telling me exactly when my audience is engaged on the platform. So it's saying today at 7 p.m. and tomorrow at 2 p.m. So 7 p.m. for Facebook and 2 p.m. for Instagram. So that's really cool to take advantage of. Over here on the toggle, you could post to your Facebook, your Instagram, and then I even have a Social Media University Facebook group. Again, free to join and available on that Gumroad tools and freebies. So I could post this to all three of these platforms if I wanted. I could click no to Facebook, however you like. So right here, we're going to add a photo. We're going to upload from our desktop because that's where our posts are. We click here on final do post and we'll click post one. So what I love about this bulk content creation is that when I export everything, they're all numbered exactly how I'd like. So post one goes with caption one here on the strategy. So we can control C. And when I'm scheduling, I'll like to, turn this green just to say that's scheduled. I don't, schedule something over and over again. Throw that in there. So we have our caption, we have our post, we can see what it would look like on Facebook, and we can see what it'll look like on Instagram. And then we can schedule it. And then it'll look like this. So if you keep on scheduling all your content, so these little red ones here are stories, and then these green ones here are posts. You just schedule out all your content, you'll see that they'll have a little Instagram icon for the Instagram one and a Facebook icon for the Facebook one, showing that both of them are scheduled and ready to go. And great job. You just learned a lot. We worked with and we educated ChatGPT. We used the bulk creation tool in Canva, one of my favorites. We exported our branded content. We wrote some awesome captions and we created and scheduled hypothetically a month's worth of content. So I have one more little piece of information that I wanted to show you guys before I take questions. I wanted to introduce you guys to Sora. If you guys have worked or used Sora before, comment Sora. I am loving Sora. I know that maybe photographers might feel different, but as small business owners with a small budget, you might appreciate this cost-effective way to create branded images without having to hire a pricey photographer. So Sora is an AI tool that generates realistic branded images. You can use it for social media. It's helping you create content faster and easier without any design skills. It's just taking a text prompt and it's creating an image for you. So like I said, if you've worked with Sora before, comment and let me know what you've used it. Sora is free to use if you have that $20 a month ChatGPT subscription, which I super encourage anybody who uses it a lot to just put in that business expense for the month. It's super worth it. You can generate 200 Sora images with that $20 a month subscription. And if you have the free ChatGPT, don't worry, you can still generate 6 a day, which is really quite a lot of content that you could use. So how can you use Sora? You can use it to create branded product images for your social media. You can generate visuals for blogs, Instagram, and Pinterest. You can design promotional banners and product shots. You can produce multiple image variations for A/B testing if you're running meta ads. And you can create professional visuals to match your personal brand and so much more. So if I were to use Sora for my Inspiring Create brand, I could have it draft some self-help books, inspirational quote cards, journals for creative writing, and so much more. So that's what I did. I went into Sora, and as you can see, I uploaded the Inspiring Create logo, and it drafted it up just near perfectly on a nice little journal. It crafted me a self-care book, some of those note cards, and then another really aesthetic journal. So let's say this was a real business and I worked with like a drop shipping company, and I just right off the bat, I didn't have the budget to buy the journals and to hire a photographer. I could just, work with a print on demand company, use their mock, screenshot it, upload it into Sora using my logo, and I could really craft great visuals to drive those sales without having the product on me at all. So I got lots of freebies for you guys. Check them out on the jdesigns.info.gumroad.com. This is another one. I've put together some Sora business prompts. They're a little bit generic, but you can go in there and refine them. You can even talk with ChatGPT if you have a chat that knows about your business. You can say, hey, I'm going to copy these Sora prompts and can you please rewrite these so that I can use them specific to my business? ChatGPT will rewrite them. Then all you have to do is copy them and put them into Sora, and it'll generate the image for you. So how to create Sora content. Personally, I like to brainstorm with ChatGPT. I like to finalize the ideas and then ask specifically for prompts. I'll copy those prompts and I'll put them into Sora. So when you open Sora, it's just a bunch of images, but there's a little text box at the bottom. That's where you put in that prompt. And then you click generate. And then it'll take a few minutes for it to create the image. If it's exactly what you want, keep on going. But if there's something that you want refined, you go back into ChatGPT and you say, hey, make the lighting better, or put different food here, or make it outside, or any of those revisions that you'd like. So if you think that Sora could save you time on creating branded content, then comment saving time in there. I love Sora. If you guys have a minute, you can check it out for free. It's just sora.chatgpt.com. If you just put in sora.com, you'll be able to see all the awesome stuff that's being generated and then take a swing at it yourself. So I know this was an immense amount of information. I have recently put together a mini masterclass, again, free. It's going to help you walk through how to do the batch creating in an ebook. And that is available for you guys, again, on that Gumroad link. And I also have the entire masterclass available there as well. And I'm ready to take your questions.
Yes, I know we had some really great engagement about just reels. And so we did link the masterclass a couple of times in the chat, and I'll put it in the follow-up. So for those people that wanted more insight from Jasmine on how to just get your reels going, definitely look in that masterclass. But to start on the questions, do you know if people could purchase Sora separately?
I don't. It's all included on that $20 ChatGPT subscription. So you're getting an immense amount of power. You're able to get those custom GPTs that I mentioned before, and you're able to do that deep research, which is really cool. And you're able to generate those 200 images a day for $20. So if you can squeeze that out, there's just so much potential on how to make that money back just for such a small investment.
Perfect. And then our next question, do you see benefit in posting at the same time each day versus simply posting at some point in the day? I know algorithm is key, but it's such an ever-changing mystery.
Yeah, so I don't know if that question was put before I'd shown how Meta Business Suite, let me find it. So when you go to that scheduling, you can go over here to that active times. And when I say like bulk create content in one day, that's because it's just so much easier to like, you could spend an hour creating the strategy, another hour creating the content, and then another hour or less scheduling it using these tools. So what Meta is doing here is it's taking data from your audience and it's saying these are your active times. Granted, it's only giving us about a 3-day span, but that's more beneficial than just kind of posting it, whatever. Don't get hard on yourself if that doesn't work out. Posting organically at whatever time it's going to work for you, just do that. But this system I put in place is specific so that you don't have to take 5 minutes out of your day. If you can spend one day doing this, then you don't have to think about it until the next month, until the next campaign. So take advantage of these active times that it's telling us because it's pulling specifically when your audience is online. So if you can do that, and let's say, so on Facebook, my audience is later in the day, and then it's pretty much showing me that Instagram, it's more in the afternoon, and then oddly enough at 2 o'clock in the morning. Just use that. You can take a screenshot of that and talk to ChatGPT about, okay, so what, based on this data, can you help me brainstorm what the best posting time would be? So.
Perfect. Then our next question is, do you recommend using platform-specific links when directing traffic? Then you can source how much of your website/shop traffic is coming from each specific platform. It can be confusing to coordinate though. Do you recommend the extra effort?
Okay, so another Meta Business Suite tip. We can go over here and, okay, Instagram best practice does not want a link in the caption, period. They want you to say, visit my website, the link in my bio, comment, whatever, so that you message them directly, an automation to get that website link. And if you say link in bio, then they know to go to your profile on Instagram and click that. Facebook allows us to use hyperlinks, and Facebook loves hyperlinks. So I could go in here, toggle this post detail, say customize post for Facebook and Instagram. So this would only take you a few seconds longer when you're doing that scheduling part. I could drop my website link in here. And then I'll toggle over here to Instagram and it's not there. So Facebook would be here. Oops, it's disappeared on me. And that's Meta for you. It'll glitch a lot, but so that will turn into a hyperlink, whereas any link posted on Instagram will not turn into a hyperlink, and it's just the algorithm doesn't like it. It's just not a best practice. So you want to just say link in bio or whatever call to action you have used, like you brainstormed with ChatGPT to develop. So then you can put that link here, and then when you go over to insights or even content, I think you can look at how many people have clicked those links. So I guess not anymore, but they used to. It's always changing.
Awesome.
But like I said, just make sure to throw those links in Facebook for sure. Find a different call to action to use on Instagram.
Perfect. And then we have three more questions here. So some people have different audiences and or goals per social media platform. So cross-posting can be tricky. Do you have any advice on balancing general evergreen content with targeted campaigns?
What I would do is I would brainstorm that with ChatGPT and develop it into the strategy. And then, you know, if your audience is different than your Facebook, then just create that content separately. And when you're scheduling, just toggle that page off. And it's totally up to your preference. I like using Meta Business Suite because it's a best practice platform created by Meta. Um, and it's easy and it's free. So if you have a system that works for you, then go ahead and use that, and just take other pieces of this, build just an Instagram strategy and just bulk create on Instagram using those different content pillars. Yeah, I hope that answered that question.
And then do you have recommendations on how to prompt or train ChatGPT to your specific brand voice? It can be very time consuming to fine tune the level of formality and localization.
Yeah, so again, the beauty of that $20 subscription is you can ask it to do deep research. You could ask it to do psychological research to help you drive sales. And then you could kind of you could either create a custom GPT like I did. So that GPT has all the information that like I did deep research on and how I do social media strategies. So you could create a custom GPT or you could just have like a specific chat bot that you're just kind of funneling that information. And then asking it what else does it need to help you refine it as much as you can. It can be time consuming, but if you've got like 30 minutes just to brainstorm with it initially and then write a list of to-dos to kind of keep, once a day, 30 minutes, just kind of feed that information in. But if it's more time sensitive, just kind of take that 4 to 5 hours to refine a custom ChatGPT so you can use it. And it'll do that key brand messaging. Anything else really?
Thank you. And then our last question is, and just kind of outside of this conversation is, what about LinkedIn?
I love to use LinkedIn to promote things like this. I like to use LinkedIn to write articles, like in a blog, because I don't like my website doesn't have blog capabilities. So I just use LinkedIn for that, or to like hype up my fellow entrepreneurs. I think the strategy on LinkedIn is obviously much different than Facebook and Instagram, where it's more, I'm trying to connect with local entrepreneurs and help problem solve some of the things that I can with the tech and the strategy and stuff that I know. Whereas Facebook and Instagram, I do that too, but just in a different strategy, different languages.
Thank you. I think that is all our questions. So we're gonna start wrapping up here, but if you have any last minute questions, just keep the chat going.
Thank you everyone again for joining us today. Thank you, Jasmine. We saw a lot of comments that said, hey, I just learned I'm way underutilizing ChatGPT, Canva, even Meta Business Suite. So this was really great today. And we even had people applauding you in the comments. So we will send out a follow-up for this recording so you can watch it again and start implementing some of these great tips and tricks and really beef up your content. And really do it in a time-saving way. And then we'll also include some of the links that Jasmine provided today, so you have quick access to all of that. In that, we'll also have a survey. We'd love to hear your feedback and be able to share that with Jasmine later on, and even any other topics you want to see on these trainings. We're open to them. We do have 2 scheduled in July and, throughout the year, so follow us. But the July coming up, save the date, July 17th is Navigating Successful Shipping. And that is with Aaron and Kirk Mauser. They're going to do a great job. If you saw them at Market Tech, it's kind of a step up to that as well. And then July 24th is going to be a panel coming to you on webinar, and it is about hiring smarter. So is it the right time to hire? When should I hire? What benefits do you have as a small business that you're not thinking about? Or even are you considering the personality that you're bringing onto your team? And so we encourage you, get signed up for those so you don't miss some of these great trainings that are coming up. Again, thank you. We have our our contact information on the screen. So if you have any questions or want to learn more about Grow Nebraska, please reach out. We'd be happy to talk to you guys. Thanks so much and have a great day, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.